You guys, we have a Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively It Ends With Us update. This situation is absolutely crazy because we were talking about this back in August and now we are talking about it all over again. There's so many opinions going around the story and I'm going to get into everything new that has come out since Blake has filed her complaint against Justin. Since my last video, a lot has happened in this situation as it has completely taken over the internet and everyone is chiming in to give their opinions. There's tons of industry support for Blake coming out, and Justin, well, it's not looking too good for him. The public seems pretty divided though when you look at the comments of those reporting on the situation, but I truly encourage everyone to read the full complaint before you make judgment on this particular situation. But I will break down what's going on a little bit and then get into some of the big updates on this case. On Saturday, it was made public that Blake Lively had filed a lawsuit against her It Ends With Us co-star and director Justin Baldoni, alleging inappropriate on-set behavior and a retaliatory smear campaign. Blake's claims include unwanted physical contact, exposure to explicit materials, and unprofessional comments. She asserts that after voicing concerns and requesting safeguards like an intimacy coordinator, Justin and producer Jamie Heath hired crisis management experts to damage her reputation through manipulated media narratives. Justin, through his lawyer, has denied these allegations, labeling them as false attempts to harm his image and repair hers. And the public has been like, well, she ruined her own reputation during the press tour. She shouldn't have promoted the movie the way that she did. But in the complaint, it's clear they're trying to say that Justin and his crisis management team used all of their connections to try and use Blake's downfall on the internet to their advantage to protect him from HR complaints about him being brought to light and canceling him. And also in regards to how she promoted the film, it is said in the complaint, and there's also documents that back this up, that Sony wanted the cast to promote the movie a certain way, and Justin Baldoni went and did his own thing. But Sony did tell the cast what to say, and Blake and the rest of the cast members did exactly that. Do I think that they should have listened to the backlash and kind of switched things up once they saw that the public wasn't responding well to the way that they were promoting it? Yes, but she didn't do that because she was trying to be insensitive. It's what the studio wanted them to do to shy away from the DV aspect of the movie. Now, in the complaint, messages were referenced from Justin Baldoni's PR crisis team to his publicist, where they talked about the fact that 4 major news outlets were standing down on the HR complaints about him. On or around the same date, Ms. Nathan directly engaged with several media platforms discussing the issue of the HR complaints made against Mr. Baldoni while on the set of the film. On August 15th, Ms. Nathan texted Ms. Abel that Daily Mail hounded me, re-HR complaints. She stated that Daily Mail is not running any content about it, continuing, Jen, this went so well, I'm effing dying. I have to call you later in a bit and tell you how this went. It was genius. So, okay, we have the 4 majors standing down on HR complaints. I think we are fine on that bit. An interesting fact is that Justin's PR crisis manager, Melissa Nathan, her sister is Sarah Nathan, a journalist, and this is referenced in the complaint that she wrote 2 articles about this situation in page 6. It's these 2 articles here. Truth Behind It Ends With Us feud rumors Justin Baldoni made Blake Lively uncomfortable, sources say, and Blake Lively approved final cut of It Ends With Us amid feud with co-star director Justin Baldoni. Texts between Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel referencing Melissa Nathan's sister were referenced in the complaint, saying, on August 9th, 2024, Miss Nathan indicated to Miss Abel that she was on the phone with her sister, Sarah Nathan, a journalist at the New York Post and contributor at Page 6, and remarked that Mr. Baldoni's religion should be taken out from media coverage. She went on to state, and mostly the misogynistic. Later the same day, Miss Nathan texted Miss Abel a link of an article on Page 6 by Sarah Nathan entitled Truth Behind It Ends With Us feud rumors. Justin Baldoni made Blake Lively uncomfortable, sources say, stating, I knew she would keep uncomfortable. On August 9th, 2024, Miss Abel and Miss Nathan discussed suppressing 2 stories that report Miss Lively was uncomfortable on the set. Miss Nathan texted, all press is so overwhelming. We've confused people, so much mixed messaging. It's actually really funny if you think about it. Now, since this news all broke, Justin has been dropped by his talent agency, WME. His Voices of Solidarity Award, which honored men who have advocated for women, has also been rescinded, and Vital Voices made a statement saying, the Voices of Solidarity Award honors remarkable men who have shown courage and compassion in advocating on behalf of women and girls. On December 9, 2024, we recognized Justin Baldoni with this award, On Saturday, December 21st, we learn through news reports about a lawsuit brought by Blake Lively against Mr. Baldoni, his publicist, and others that is disturbing and alleges abhorrent conduct. The communications among Mr. Baldoni and his publicists included in the lawsuit and the PR effort they indicate are alone contrary to the values of Vital Voices and the spirit of the award. We have notified Mr. Baldoni that we have rescinded this award. His Man Enough podcast co-host Liz Plank also quit. She wrote on Instagram, "I'm writing to you today to let you know that I have had my representatives inform Wayfarer that I will no longer be co-hosting the Man Enough podcast. Thank you for trusting me with your hearts and stories, for holding space for mine, and for making the show what it was. I will miss you, the listeners, so much. I love what this community created together with every fiber of my being, and that's because of you. As this chapter closes for me, I remain committed to the values we've built together. Thank you for being here, for trusting me, and for being by my side for the last 4 years. We all deserve better, and I know that together we can create it. I will have more to share soon as I continue to process everything that has happened. In the meantime, I will continue to support everyone who calls out injustice and holds the people standing in their way accountable." Colleen Hoover, the author of It Ends With Us, also made a statement on her Instagram story in support of Blake, writing at Blake Lively, "You have been nothing but honest, kind, supportive, and patient since the day we met. Thank you for being exactly the human that you are. Never change, never wilt." Now, this isn't too big of a shock given that she unfollowed Justin around the time of the film's release and did a ton of press alongside Blake. But speaking of support for Blake, the cast of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants have also come out in a joint statement on Instagram in support of Blake. Alexis Blundell, America Ferrera, and Amber Tamlin posted on Instagram saying, "As Blake's friends and sisters, for over 20 years, we stand with her in solidarity as she fights back against the reported campaign waged to destroy her reputation. Throughout the filming of It Ends With Us, we saw her summon the courage to ask for a safe workplace for herself and colleagues on set, and we are appalled to read the evidence of a premeditated and vindictive effort that ensued to discredit her voice. Most upsetting is the unabashed exploitation of DV survivors' stories to silence a woman who asked for safety. The hypocrisy is astounding. We are struck by the reality that even if a woman is as strong, celebrated, and resourced as our friend Blake, she can face forceful retaliation for daring to ask for a safe working environment. We are inspired by our sister's courage to stand up for herself and others. For anyone seeking more information or engaging in the important conversation online, please read the full legal complaint in the investigative reporting by Megan Tooley, Mike McIntyre, and Julie Tate for the New York Times. I will add that in addition to those who spoke out in support of Blake, that both Sony and SAG-AFTRA, the union representing roughly 160,000 actors in Hollywood, voiced their support for Blake this week. Variety reported, "We have previously expressed our support for Blake in connection with her work on and for the film. We fully and firmly reiterate that support today," a Sony Pictures Entertainment spokesperson tells Variety. Further, we strongly condemn any reputational attacks on her. Any such attacks have no place in our business or in a civil society. Now, Justin's publicist, Jennifer Abel, made an alleged statement on Facebook about all of this. Dumois posted the screenshots, and before I read them, just so everyone is on the same page here, Jennifer Abel has been Justin's longtime publicist. She doesn't specialize in crisis management, so they hired Melissa Nathan, whose PR agency is called The Agency Group, also referred to as TAG in the complaint. This is what Jennifer Abel, his longtime publicist, said about this situation. "Hi, I never thought the day would come when I need to defend myself with my own peers, but this certainly has been an interesting and devastating, quite frankly, couple of days, so here we are, but here are the facts. No, I was never subpoenaed. I found out my private text messages and emails were included in the complaint after I received it on Friday night, and then New York Times contacted me an hour and a half after receipt. They had already reviewed the 80-page document and had questions prepared, and apparently also received thousands of pages of documents with our correspondence that we never saw. So it was clear this was a coordinated effort, but nothing we haven't seen before since I've been working in talent PR for over 15 years now. I have recently left my previous firm, at which I was still with during this campaign, with a team who also participated in the campaign and a boss who oversaw, and who had access to my work emails and work phone. so you can deduce from that what you will. What the cherry-picked messages don't include, although not shockingly as it doesn't fit the narrative, is that there was no smear implemented, no negative press was ever facilitated, no social combat plan, although we were prepared for it as it's our job to be ready for any scenario, but we didn't have to implement anything because the internet was doing the work for us. Sure, we talked about it, contemplated if we needed certain things, flagged accounts that we needed to monitor, worked with a social team to help us stay on top of the narrative so we could act quickly if needed, and yes, we rejoiced and joked in the fact that fans were recognizing our clients' heart and work without us having to do anything but keep our heads down and focus on positive interviews for our client. As the texts show, we sophomorically reveled and again joked privately to each other about the internet's feedback to the women whose team was making our lives incredibly difficult over the course of the campaign. I'm human, the long hours, months of preparation on top of my day-to-day scope, it felt good to see that although we were prepared, we didn't have to do anything over the top to protect our client. Incredibly difficult, you say? In what way? Funny you should ask. I was notified at the start of the campaign that the opposing team had been planting horrible stories about my client as a failsafe if my client did not comply with the demands set forth for the campaign, which is why we brought on Crisis, as it's not something that I do. My sole job was to put together interviews, screening opportunities, and speaking opportunities for my client in support of the film, a standard scope of work. I did my job. Now, what kind of woman would work against another woman who was a victim of all the things being claimed? Thanks for asking. After reviewing the evidence, facts, hard proof that countered every single thing that was being claimed and demanded at the start of production, I made a choice to stand by my client of almost 5 years who have dedicated his life to the equal treatment of others, especially women, who had no incidents of negative treatment of others, and who had a wonderful community and team at Wayfair who all held the same moral fortitude and lived their life accordingly. As representatives, we all have to make that choice, so I did that to the best of my ability and felt good about our efforts. Is my client perfect? No. In fact, he says that he's not perfect so constantly to the point I tell him he needs to be less self-deprecating because it could be taken the wrong way. Are Blake's feelings valid? It's not my position to say or speculate what she was feeling in these moments that she claims, and I would never slam a woman for speaking her truth, but at the end of the day, if it's not the truth and there is evidence that proves otherwise, then as a representative, I have to do what I feel is right as well. And I'm going to explain to you guys how these texts got out because you guys, Justin was hit with another lawsuit. Yes, him, Jennifer Abel, his publicist, Melissa Nathan, and Wayfair were all hit with this suit. Basically, Justin's former publicist, Stephanie Jones, is suing for breach of contract in a new lawsuit that links her dismissal to the alleged smear campaign against Blake Lively. Basically, Stephanie is a publicist and founder of Jones Work LLC, which previously represented Justin and his production company, Wayfair Studios. She was basically Jennifer's boss. Jennifer was the former vice president at Jones Work and was the point person for Justin, and she allegedly conspired to undermine Stephanie. In fear of things coming out about Justin, Jennifer, as we know, brought on Melissa Nathan, who is the crisis PR specialist. Allegedly, though, she did this without telling Stephanie. Stephanie is alleging that Melissa and Jennifer allegedly orchestrated a smear campaign against Blake Lively to shift public blame away from Justin, and that the two of them conspire to also damage Stephanie's reputation, steal her clients, and set up their own PR firm. She is accusing Jennifer of allegedly downloading confidential Jones Work documents and that she began setting up her rival agency while she was still employed. Texts revealed Melissa and Jennifer discussing their plans to damage Stephanie's reputation, steal Justin as a client, and get rich. When Stephanie was made aware of the situation, she fired Jennifer, but by then the complaint says it was too late, the damage was already done, and we seem to find out how all these texts have been revealed to us. As the complaint says, Abel and Nathan's covert takedown and smear campaigns were revealed in black and white on Abel's company-issued phone following her termination, which Jones Work forensically preserved and examined in detail after receiving a subpoena for the phone's contents. Jones discovered the breadth and intensity of Abel and Nathan's duplicity from these records, including that Abel was actively encouraging other Jones Work clients and employees to leave Jones Work while Abel was still employed there. So here are some of the texts that are included in her complaint. We have messages between Melissa and Jennifer. Melissa says to Jennifer, "I know, and once you're gone, we will be on accounts together and make really good money and be happy. Let's just keep it steering that way, and you take this effing client and never talk to her again, I swear to God." The complaint also showed Jennifer allegedly talking negatively about Justin Baldoni, writing, "I can't stand him, he's so pompous. A men's retreat during release, is he crazy? And being off the grid for the summer because he's just so overworked, like calm down, you're not that important and nobody gives an ish how hard your life is. He doesn't need a retreat, he needs to be humbled. When this movie flops, he's going to try to blame every person around him for it. He may fire us because even if we put together an amazing campaign, it's not going to change the fact that he's so unlikable and unrealistic as a leading man. There's no chemistry with him and Blake. You and I both know she will be resistant to promote this movie, and press will be reluctant to do anything with Justin without Blake being part of it." So those are my thoughts. In the complaint, they also included messages where Jennifer is also talking about a scene from the movie. The complaint reads, "Months earlier, Abel had voiced the same opinion in connection with a filmed kissing scene between Baldoni and Lively, which was described to Abel as so gross and revealed that Abel was well aware of Lively's on-set complaints about Baldoni's behavior. She wrote, 'It's so cringy, his face, Blake was probably grossed out too.' And Jennifer replied, 'Yeah,' and filed a cease and desist." Stephanie is even claiming that Jennifer and Melissa allegedly made these fake websites and planted seeds about her that were negative, much like what Blake Lively is claiming happened with her. And this is just so crazy and so insane. And I will keep you guys updated on what is going on in this case, because truly every day, every hour, I swear there is a new update in this situation. But as of right now, that is what has been said. That is what has come out. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.